Have you ever done everything right and still felt like you were not going anywhere? You wake up early. You go to work. You stay consistent. You do what people tell you to do. And from the outside, your life looks stable. But inside, it feels different. Like something is missing. Like no matter how much effort you put in, nothing really moves forward. And the question keeps coming back, quietly, when no one is around. Is this all there is? Maybe you have told yourself, this is just how life works. You start small. You work hard. You wait your turn. And eventually, things will change. That is what Howard Schultz believed too. He was not careless. He was not lazy. He worked his way into a stable job, built a path that made sense. From the outside, it looked like progress. But something felt off. He was working, learning, growing. But his direction was not changing. Days started to feel the same. The effort was real, but the movement was not. He could see the next year, and it looked exactly like the last one. Same role, same routine, same expectations. And the more he thought about it, the harder it became to ignore. Because nothing was wrong enough to quit, but nothing was right enough to stay. And that quiet realization started to get louder. What changed his life was not a promotion, not more experience, not even more money. It was a moment, a small moment, in a place he did not expect. And once he saw it, he could not unsee it. At first, it did not feel important. Nothing dramatic happened. No big announcement. No sudden opportunity. Just something simple that most people would have ignored. But for some reason, it stayed with him. It followed him back to his work, back to his routine, back to the life he was used to living. And slowly, it started to create a question he could not silence anymore. Not about what he was doing, but about what he was missing. Because sometimes, it is not the big moments that change your life. It is the quiet ones, the ones that make you realize there is a completely different way of seeing everything. Howard Schultz was born in Brooklyn, New York. Not into wealth, not into opportunity. His father worked a series of low-paying jobs: truck driver, laborer, long hours, little pay, no security, no insurance, no safety net. And then one day, his father fell. He injured his leg badly. And just like that, everything stopped. No job, no income, no support. No one stepped in. No system protected them. Howard watched his father sit at home, frustrated, silent, powerless. Not because he did not want to work, but because he could not. And there was nothing to fall back on. No savings, no protection, no second chance. That moment stayed with him, not as anger, not even as motivation at first, but as something deeper, a quiet understanding that hard work alone does not guarantee stability, and a realization that would follow him for years. If you do not build something better, this is what life looks like. Years later, he built a career. He worked in sales, learned how to communicate, learned how to persuade, eventually joined a small coffee company, Starbucks. At the time, it was just selling coffee beans, nothing more. No experience, no culture, no connection, just a product. And for a while, it looked like a safe path, until one trip changed everything. He traveled to Italy, and that is where everything shifted. He walked into a small cafe in Milan. Nothing luxurious, just a simple place. But something felt different immediately. People were not rushing. They were standing at the counter, talking, laughing. The barista knew their names, knew their orders. It was not just coffee, it was connection. And suddenly, Howard saw something he had never seen before. Not a product, but a place, a space between home and work, where people felt like they belonged. And in that moment, a question hit him. Why do we not have this in America? That was the idea, but the pain came after. When he brought it back, no one believed in it. Not the company, not the investors. They said, this will not work. Americans do not care about that. Just sell the coffee. And he had to face a decision. Stay in a safe job and live a predictable life, or leave everything behind for something no one believed in. That decision was not inspiring. It was terrifying, because he knew exactly what it felt like to grow up without stability. He had lived it. And now, he was choosing risk anyway. He left, started from nothing. No safety net, no guaranteed outcome. Tried to raise money. Pitch after pitch. Meeting after meeting. Different rooms. Same story. Rejected. Over and over again. More than 200 times. People did not see the vision. They saw risk. They saw uncertainty. They saw something unfamiliar and chose to walk away. And every no forced the same question, am I wrong? Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. In quiet moments, between meetings, on the way home, that question stayed with him, but he kept going, refined the idea, simplified the message, explained it better, learned from every rejection, even when it did not feel like progress, showed up again, because he did not need everyone to believe. He just needed one person who could see what he saw. And eventually, after enough doubt, after enough resistance, he got it. That idea became a store, a single place. Simple, focused. That store became a system, processes, standards, a repeatable experience that did not depend on one location. That system became a company, growing, expanding, reaching beyond what anyone expected at the beginning. And that company became Starbucks. Thousands of locations, across cities, across countries, across continents. Not just selling coffee, but selling an experience. A place people walk into, not just for a drink, but for a feeling. A pause in the day, a familiar space, a sense of belonging. A place people return to every single day. The exact thing he saw in that small cafe in Italy, brought to life. Not once, but again and again and again, at scale. The difference was never talent. It was not luck. It was not timing. It was the moment he saw something others ignored and chose not to walk away from it. Most people see opportunities like that and hesitate. They question it. They doubt it. They wait too long until the moment passes. But he did something different. He stayed with it, even when it felt uncertain, even when no one else understood. He trusted what he saw before there was proof, and that choice made all the difference. Right now, you might be in that same place, working, trying, waiting, but maybe what you are missing is not effort. It is perspective, because one moment, one idea, one decision can change everything if you are willing to follow it, even when no one else believes. If this made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because sometimes the smallest moment becomes the biggest turning point of your life.